Good day everyone, my name is Ray Bahenting Flores and this is my channel. Last video or last meeting, we discussed about trigonometric functions. And as a sort of review, before we start this topic, let me ask you some questions regarding the previous videos to test your understanding about it. So this is the questions. What was or name the six trigonometric function or ratios we've discussed? And if you answer sine, cosine, tangent, cotangent, secant, and cosecant, then you're right. How about what is or what theorem we've used to determine the missing side of a right triangle? Yes. And if you answer Pythagorean theorem and the formula under it is the c squared is equal to e squared plus b squared, then you're right again. So without further ado, let's proceed to the main content of this topic, and it is all about the cosine curve. But before that, let me share my thoughts regarding this phrase. Slow down, calm down, and don't you worry, by an anonymous. It is just from the given phrase, it gives some points that success doesn't happen in just an instant or by a snap in our hand. It is we need to be contented and yet hardworking in life to achieve our desires, and such as to be successful. So next is this is the main topic we have, the cosine curve or the graph, and it will the objective are the learners are able to sketch or to learn sketch how to sketch the cosine graph and also to be observe its properties. So this is the terms we should be familiar. First is the amplitude. Amplitude defined as the absolute value of one half as the difference between the greatest and the lowest function. Or from this given function or standard form of a function here, which is the y is equal to a cos bx, the absolute value of a is our amplitude. So next is the period. Period is help defines the number of a cycle, and it will help us determining the key points or the points in a given graph or cos graph. So this is the formula we need to be familiar to determine the cos or the period of a cos. So it is the 2 pi over b, and this is the standard form of a function. The y is equal to a cos bx. Just simply substitute the value of b to the given formula. So how about in this given example, the y is equal to 3 cos 1 half x. So 1 half is our b. So just substitute our 1 half in a given formula. So we have this 2 pi over 1 half. So simplify. In order for us to solve it easily, we need to find the multiplicative or the reciprocal of 1 half, which is the 2. So 2 pi multiplied by 2, so we have this 4 pi as the period of this given or given function here as our example. So to um, to visualize the graph of a cosine, let me start it with this given example here. The y is equal to cos x. Y is equal to cos x. This is the graph of the given function. As you observe that the distance from the horizontal line or the x-axis to the greatest point or to the maximum point, so that is our amplitude. Or from the um, x-axis down to the minimum point. So again, that is also our um, amplitude. Since it is -1 if we down to our minimum point, just remember that amplitude is the absolute value of A. So absolute value of -1, so we have +1. So the maximum point is the highest or the peak of a curve. It is found in mostly in um, quadrant 1 and quadrant 2. Then the negative or the minimum point mostly found in quadrant 3 and quadrant 4, since it is the negatives. It gives you negative values of our y. So the range is from the given maximum point and minimum point. We have this range -1 as less than or equal to y, but y is less than or equal to +1 as our maximum point. The domain is this. Since x-axis is continuous and the given illustration is just a one cycle, so we could elaborate our domain as negative infinity as less than or equal to x, but x is less than or equal to positive infinity. So this is the point created by a graph, the point created through the intersection of a graph and the and the x-axis is what we call the x-intercepts. So it is the again next is this is the period of our given function, which is y is equal to cos x, since if since the value of our b is 1, so 2 pi over 1, so we have this 2 pi. Next is from the given function, this is the properties of a given function based from its graph. As you remember, the amplitude is 1, the period is 2 pi, and the intercepts we had, or the first is we have this maximum point, which is the +1, the minimum point, which is the -1. The intercepts are the range is -1 less than or equal to y, and y is less than or equal to +1, and the domain is -infinity less than as or equal to x, and x is less than or equal to +infinity. So we have this. Next is the intercepts: 2 pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, 5 pi over 2, 7 pi over 2, and so on, for the number of the pi. N pi, number or the constant or the number, and the pi symbol. Then the interval given from the graph, since as you remember, the graph started at the point of negative pi over 2, and it ends in a 2 pi as our period. So another example is y is equal to cos x over 2. Then from the given function here, our amplitude is automatically 1, since the a is imaginary 1. Then our period is just simply 2 pi over 1 half, or 1 half as our b. So we have this 1 half. The reciprocal of 1 half is we have this 2 pi multiplied by 2, so we have this 4 pi as our period in this given function. Next is let's graph the given function y cos x over 2. So this is the graph. um, the the yellow here represent as our amplitude, the line which is the color yellow. Then the green, or the point that colors green, is our maximum point. The opposite is the minimum point, which is represented by a red or red dot or red point. Then the orange point here represents our x-intercepts, and the violet line represent as our period. Then the range is represented by the brown line, and the domain represented by a light yellow. So from the given graph, we could determine the properties of the given function, which is the y cos of x over 2. So this is the um, properties of this. Again, the given y cos x over 2, amplitude is equal to 1, period is equal to 4 pi. We have this maximum point as positive 1, minimum point negative 1. We have this range bracket negative 1 and 1. We have this domain negative parenthesis of negative infinity and positive infinity, and this is are the intercept pi, 3 pi, and 5 pi, and so on, or the number of our pi. Since it is a continuous, the graph is a continuous, so we have this so on symbol. On the also the interval is negative pi, since it starts from the graph starts from the negative point and ends from our period, which is the 4 pi. So as a given as for you to enhance your skills, this is the skills exercises given for you to practice it in home. But I suggest that you must use GeoGebra app for you to have a fixed and relevant graph for for you for your basis and for your better understanding. So this is the skills exercise. First is we have this y is equal to 2 cos x. Next is the y is equal to negative cos x. Then we have this last y is equal to cos 2x. And if you have found error in my videos, just inform me or just PM me or leave a comment. And please don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell for you to be updated in my next posted videos. I hope you like it, and thank you.